Most kids, their favorite's Babe Ruth or Lou Gehrig. Well, I wasn't a baseball fan. I was a movie fan. My big favorite was Clark Gable. This is my mother and dad and Jack Lemmon. He was my roommate when we went to summer stock. Kevin Spacey here, Tom Hanks. Here's young Hollywood up here, Leonardo DiCaprio. My fascination with movies began when I was 9 years old in Dawson Springs, Kentucky. I looked up there on that screen, I just thought, I don't know what there was, but just something said, I've got to do what they're doing. I was about 11 that I went one day to a silent movie called Adoration, starring a beautiful lady named Billy Dove. And Billy Dove was, at that time, the most popular star in Hollywood. I told my mother I was in love. And she said, well, that's fine. With whom? And I said, Billy Dove. She said, oh. I told her, I said, now, I want to write her a fan letter. And lo and behold, she sent me a 5x7 picture. She signed it, and all it says is, greetings, Billy Dove. My love for movies was just absolutely the driving force of my life. After I got out of the service, I decided to go to New York City. I took a job with National Cash Register Company, but I couldn't hack it. And I walked out and I took a taxi, went down to a place down the village, met this director who was the director of the Hayloft Summer Theater in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And over in the corner was a young kid that had already been signed for the resident juvenile, and his name was Jack Lemmon. And he gets a chance to go to New York to do a TV show. And the last 3 roles of the summer season, I took over Jack Lemmon's parts. Hal Riddle was born in the summer of 1948 at the Hayloft Summer Theater. I wanted to be a star. I didn't make it. But, and that's the big but, I stuck with it. I got into Mr. Roberts, and I had one of the greatest small parts ever written for a play. When you are in New York, what you strive to do is be good enough in New York for Hollywood, really, everybody in Hollywood to come to you. My timing was wrong, but I couldn't wait to get out here. So when Torog said he was directing Onionhead at Warner Brothers, he said, come on out, I've got a part for you in it. And I rushed to Hollywood. Now, when I came to Hollywood, I got very active with the Hollywood Christian Group, with Roy Rogers and Dale Evans, and a whole lot of the people out here. Then I got active in the Hollywood Presbyterian Church, and I started working with the young people. And by my mentoring them, they in turn, of course, did something to my whole psyche and my life in terms of changing my whole concept of what I wanted in life. And I was signed with a big agent in Beverly Hills, and his sub-agent said to me one day, Hal, look, you're going to have to make up your mind. You're going to be a minister and actor because you can't be both. I said, why not? He said, because you can't, because you got to play it Hollywood's way. And I can see right now you're not going to. I said, well, no, I'm not. God has a plan for our lives. And somehow, when we fall in step with it, and we never know when we're falling in and out of step, but we just know sometimes He's leading the way. About a year after I got here, I was over at the theater one night, and I was talking about my great love, Billy Dove. Well, the next morning I got a call from this lady, and she says, Hal, this is Maria, and I heard you talking last night about Billy Dove. I said, oh, yeah. She said, did you know she's here? She said, would you like to meet her? Well, man, my legs turned to jelly. I said, oh yeah, yes. They had Billy in the guest room waiting, and she was in a wheelchair, still very beautiful. I was scared because I didn't want her to think that I was infringing, intruding upon her in any way. So I told her my story, and she was just intrigued. And that sort of began a fantastic relationship, which everybody has written about. She confided in me. She got to really be very, very fond of me. And she was just an incredible woman to know, because as big a star as she was completely humble. This went on for a whole year, and I saw her almost every day. The world has a long tail. Everything that goes around comes around. I couldn't imagine, here this little 11-year-old boy wrote a love letter to a movie star, and all of a sudden, the last year of her life, he got to know her intimately and well. People have asked me often in interviews, how you look back in your life and you see you didn't become a big star, You didn't even become a big featured player. You did featured parts, but small parts. You aren't even a household name. Would you change anything in your life to make it differently? And you know something? I wouldn't.